Good evening, all. I'd like to welcome you to the December 4th, 2018 meeting of the Whitehall City Council for the purpose of considering such matters that come before it. I'm going to ask everyone, as I normally do, to rise for a moment of silence and a little extra, a few extra moments tonight in memory of a good and honorable man, President George Herbert Walker Bush, sometimes known as 41. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Here.
Cantor?
Here.
Heck? Here.
Here.
Bailey? Rodriguez?
Here.
Elmore?
Yes. Here.
President Graham?
Present.
Mr. President, I'd like to excuse the absent member.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Elmore to excuse the absent member. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
All right, the absent member has been excused. Next up, we have our approval of minutes for November 19, 2018, emergency special meeting minutes, November 20, 2018, agenda and regular meeting minutes, and the November 26, 2018, emergency special meeting minutes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve all the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Coniston, a second by Mr. Cantor for approval of the November 19, 20, and 26 meeting minutes. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
All right, the minutes stand approved. Our next item on the agenda is poll public. If anyone would like to come forward, you will have up to 3 minutes to address council. All righty, we'll move on to our standing committee reports, and we'll begin with Administration and Financial Management. That's Chairperson Bailey. He's a little under the weather this evening, and so is not in attendance, but that committee did meet last Tuesday. Their minutes are on file, and that shall also meet again. I'm trying to remember what the dates here is. It says the 4th, the 18th. So we'll be meeting on the 18th, a couple of weeks from now. Will be the next meeting for that committee.
Next week.
Oh, that is next week, isn't it? I don't know why I was thinking 2 weeks.
That would be the 11th.
You're absolutely right. I'll make sure I'm here. All right. So next we have Community and Elder Advocacy, Chairperson Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community and Elder Advocacy met last Tuesday. No pending legislation. Our minutes are on file. We will meet again next week in the back.
Thank you. Community Standards and Enforcement, Chairperson Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community Standards and Enforcement met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you, sir. Economic Development, Chairperson Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Economic Development also met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30 in the back.
All right, thank you, sir. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services, Chairperson Hack.
Thank you, Mr. President. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We have no pending legislation, and we will meet next Tuesday in the back after 6:30.
All right, thank you. Public Safety, Chairperson Coniston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety met last week. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again in the back on Tuesday next week, sometime after 6:30.
All righty, thank you. Parks and Recreation, Chairperson Cantor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recreation met last week. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next week in the back after 6:30.
All right, thank you. Those are all our standing committee reports. We'll move on to our officials' reports, and we'll begin with our mayor, Ms. Kim Maggard.
Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening, and I would like favorable consideration of ordinances 110, 119, and 121. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Next up, we have our city attorney, Mr. Michael Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council, and everyone that's here tonight. Mayor, do you need a cough drop? I think I might have one.
I have some in my
Okay,
purse.
all right.
Thank you.
No, that's something. Hearing your voice, you need something. But I wanted to give the report as it relates to the month of November for Mayor's Court as well as Municipal Court. City Attorney's Office prosecuted 360 cases in Mayor's Court and 455 cases overall if you combine that with Municipal Court. Out of the 360 cases in Mayor's Court, only 29 of those were Whitehall residents, which is about an 8% rate. It's much lower than this time last year. Overall, out of the 455 cases, there were approximately 45 Whitehall residents if you take criminal cases from downtown as well as criminal cases in Mayor's Court, and that's only about a 9% rate. So overall, the month of November, we had about 450 cases, which is an uptick overall, but a downtick as it relates to Whitehall residents. That being said, our drug court is still going well. We still have participants in the program. Interesting enough, and I was having a discussion with my assistant city attorney today, Brad Nicodemus, and we're noticing a higher trend of meth users that are being brought into our Mayor's Court, first offense meth users, which is very strange. Unfortunately, the grant does not account for meth. It's particularly related to opiate, the science involved, as well as the ability to provide assistance to those who are addicted to opiates is the reason. But my office is actively looking now, as a result of the discussion today, on what do we do regarding those individuals. We already have a pathway for marijuana use. We have a pathway for opiate. But if we're going to start seeing an uptick in trend in meth use, we certainly are not going to ignore that. And then lastly, I would like to publicly thank Director Greg, as well as Chief Crispin, as well as our Whitehall Police Department for the efficient and expedient apprehension of that murder suspect in Whitehall. I think the message that it sends is a positive message overall regarding Whitehall's response and focus as it relates to crime. And although we can't avoid, the fact that the crime occurred in Whitehall, we can at least take rest in knowing that the individual that committed the crime was not a Whitehall resident. And certainly this is an isolated event, and no other families are certainly unsafe as a result of this individual that was previously on the street, but for our boys in blue, making sure that he was being taken off the street. So I'd like to thank you, Director Gregg, and please send my thanks to Chief Crispin.
All right, thank you, sir. Next up, we have our city auditor, Mr. Dan Miller.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to the meeting tonight for all that people out there in the audience. I have no official report tonight other than to ask for favorable consideration on Resolution 48. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next up, we have our Director of Public Safety, Mr. Van Gregg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to piggyback on Mike, and thanks a lot for that, but talking to the chief today, is that it was a team effort by the Detective Bureau that got to the scene real quick, the crime analyst unit that took care of areas where they need to be looked at, and the assistance and cooperation from our community. We went around to homes and also to businesses to get cameras to track this individual, and Chief Crispin was really just thinking that they just did a great job, and everybody needs some credit for it.
Very good. All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have our treasurer, Mr. Steve Quintal.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no official report tonight.
All right, well, thank you, sir. The following officials' reports have been filed in the council office since our last meeting. There it goes. All right, we have the treasurer's investment report for October 2018, the treasurer's activity by fund report for October 2018, and the treasurer's fund reconciliation report for October 2018. Under communications, petitions, and claims, we have received the minutes from the November 1st, 2018 meeting of the Planning Commission, and we also have received the agenda for the December 6th, 2018 meeting of the Planning Commission. Ms. Frymark, at this time, I'd like you to call roll on whether each member of council was given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting, and including any add-on legislation, please.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
All right. First up, we have our third reading ordinances. We have ordinance 90, 2018. It's amending the zoning map attached to chapter 1122 of the 1970 codified ordinances of the city of Whitehall, Ohio, and is subsequently amended. Amending the planned department district development plan on property located at 540 South Hamilton Road, parcel number 090001623, property owned by Hamilton Crossings LLC.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 90, 2018, and move to have it tabled indefinitely.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Morrison to table ordinance 90, 2018 indefinitely. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Ordinance 90, 2018 has been tabled. All right. I'm good.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Next, that's the only item we have in the third reading. Under second readings, we have ordinance 105, 2018, making appropriation for current general fund expenses, street expenses, and state highway materials expenses during the period from January 1, 2019 to December 31st, 2019 in the total sum of $34,108,296 and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 109, 2018. It's making an appropriation for certain special revenue internal service and fiduciary accounts for the calendar year 2019 in the total sum of $15,733,912.32 and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 110, 2018. It's transferring $10,000 from the contingency expense account to the accrued benefit reserve fund, approving and making a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $10,000 from the accrued benefit reserve fund to the accrued benefit reserved expense account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 110, 2018, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 110, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 110, 2018. I'm jumping the gun on you. Don't pause like that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms. Elmore for adoption of ordinance 110, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 110, 2018 has been adopted. This thing keeps changing on me.
This one don't.
This one does.
Okay, I just want you to know.
All right, next up we have ordinance 111, 2018. It's amending the zoning map attached to chapter 1122 of the 1970 codified ordinances of the city of Whitehall, Ohio, and as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.12C4 to allow Ohio Power Company to operate and construct a new electrical substation on property located at 200 Schofield Drive, parcel number 090008369, 090008353, 090008370, and 090008350. Owned by Big Green Investments LLC. That's being read by title only. It's been referred to the Planning Commission for their December 6th meeting, and we will also have a public hearing on this ordinance on December 18, 2018. It's the last item we have under second readings. We'll move on to our first reading ordinances and resolutions. We begin with ordinance 113, 2018. It's amending section 161.31 title of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, entitled Salary of the Mayor, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next is ordinance 114, 2018. It's amending section 161.362 of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, entitled Salary of the Attorney, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. That is ordinance 115, 2018 follows 114, and it reads, amending section 161.363 of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, entitled Salary of the Auditor, and declaring an emergency. That's also being read by title only. Ordinance 116, 2018 reads, amending section 161.364 of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, entitled Salary of the Treasurer, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. Next we have ordinance 117, 2018, amending section 161.36 of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, entitled Salaries of Council, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. Next up, we have ordinance 118, 2018, amending section 161.36 of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, entitled Salary of the President of Council, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next up, we have ordinance 119, 2018. It's authorizing and approving a supplemental appropriation from unappropriated monies in the general fund in the amount of $47,000 to the Workers' Compensation Expense Account, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 119, 2018. Move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Rodriguez, a second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 119, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 119, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Morrison for adoption of ordinance 119, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Ordinance 119, 2018 has been adopted. Next, we have ordinance 120, 2018, amending 135.16C1 titled Capital Improvement and Project Fund, and declaring an emergency. That's being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 121, 2018. It's authorizing and approving a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $30,000 from the 291 Clerk of Court Computerization Fund to the Clerk of Court IT Salary Expense Account, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 121, 2018. Move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 121, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 121, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms. Elmore for adoption of ordinance 121, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Ordinance 121, 2018 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 122, 2018. It's amending 135.17B1, titled Capital Equipment Replacement Reserve Fund, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Ordinance 123, 2018 reads, amending 161.37, titled Table of Authorized Personnel, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. Next up, we have ordinance 124, 2018, amending 161.38 of the codified ordinances of the city of Whitehall, Ohio, titled Salary Schedule, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance for 121, 2018. Move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 124, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 124, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms. Heck for adoption of ordinance 124, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Ordinance 124, 2018 has been adopted. Next up, it's our last ordinance. We do have a couple resolutions before us this evening. The first is Resolution 48, 2018. It's authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services for the purpose of providing services for temporary assistance to needy families and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I would like to introduce Resolution 48, 2018, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 48, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 48, 2018.
Thank you. Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Morrison for adoption of Resolution 48, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
Resolution 48, 2018 has been adopted. Our next resolution is 49, 2018. It's approving the continuation of a tax exemption agreement with Wallet Communities in conjunction with the City of Whitehall Community Reinvestment Area Program and declaring an emergency. That resolution is being read by title only. It's the last item of legislation we have before us this evening. That brings us to our second opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to come forward, you'll have up to 3 minutes. All right, we'll move on to Community Date Board.
We have the dog park open house here tomorrow night, 6:30 to 7:30,
That's right.
right after the Parks and Recreation Committee meeting from 6 to 6:30.
I believe we have a Christmas tree lighting Friday at
6 to 8,
6 to 8.
the Winter Wonderland. There'll be arts and crafts and
Cookies and...
cookie decorating, and
Do you get to eat the cookies?
I believe so,
They asked for volunteers, did you get that email?
yes.
To cook, come up here?
Anybody that would like to volunteer, be here at 5:30. We'll put you to work.
Toy drive,
We got the toy drive Saturday.
Saturday.
Was that 10 to 2?
That is 10 to 2. Fire station. The following week, we've got Breakfast with Santa on December 15th. Yes. That will go on at 9 o'clock to 11:30. What else we got going on this?
We also have next Saturday night, Whitehall versus Bexley, and at halftime of the varsity game, we have the 25th anniversary of our varsity that went to the state final. Coach Mike Dixon will make a speech at halftime. And most of the players, from what I've been told, and the managers will also be there that night. That's next Saturday night, the 8th. That's our job. You'll be there for that one, won't you? Oh, you'll be in Vegas.
Is that this Saturday?
This Saturday, the 8th.
No, I won't be.
Yeah.
Oh, and just to let everybody know, the,
I'll be working.
for Breakfast with Santa, it would be to bring a non-perishable. I'm sorry, a bit under the weather tonight. And then all of those proceeds from Breakfast with Santa will go over to Victory Ministries, Center of Hope.
Can you also make cash donations?
Absolutely, cash donations accepted.
Who else has something for a community day for it? All right, we'll move on to poll council. We'll begin with Ms. Coniston.
All right. I want to thank Representative Brown for coming tonight. Nice to see you. I also like to thank everybody for coming, and happy Hanukkah for all my Jewish friends. And somebody asked me tonight if I minded when somebody said Merry Christmas to me. And I absolutely love when anybody wishes me a happy anything. So I think that everybody should.
All right, Mr. Cantor.
Thank you. Karen said most everything I was going to say. Congratulations on your election. Hard work pays off. You did a really good job. Thank you. And I know you'll do a great job. You've been to White, I think, 6, 7 times at least that I know of. So I thank you very much. And Karen, happy anything?
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right. Ms. Heck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for everybody coming that came tonight. Thank you for everybody that tuned in to watch us, and hope everybody has a safe weekend and week. It's only Tuesday. That's all.
All right. Mr. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also would like to thank everyone for coming. Representative Brown, good to see you here. Mr. Dixon, and everyone else. Have a good week.
All right.
Unless Ty is.
No, I'm waiting for you to tie.
Play music.
That's all. You're
Oh,
tied.
Yeah,
You like that? Like that?
No, I'm listening to it play.
happens every year.
Yes.
It does.
Twice a year. It does.
All right.
Plays twice a year.
Mr. Rodriguez, we're over to you. Your tie doesn't play anything.
Silent time.
Silent.
Silent.
Silent tie.
So, thanks everyone for showing up this evening, and happy Tuesday. And congratulations on your upcoming trip to somewhere warm.
Virgin Islands.
Yes.
Is that VI? Is there a yes?
Virgin Islands.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful. That's all.
Miss Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for those that are viewing in from Facebook. Thank you, Representative Brown, for your attendance. And just want to wish everybody peace and goodwill through this season, and be kind to one another. And also just the outpouring for the victims that were affected by the fire at Long Bridge is a continued effort. It just shows that we as a community come together and pull together and meet the needs of our citizens that are here. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Well, I also want to thank everyone for being here this evening. It's a little chilly out there. It's getting to be that time of year, so bundle up if you're going to go outside. But, you know, but we have the heat on in here, so if you come over here, you'll be nice and warm. So we hope to see you all at our next meeting. Again, thanks everyone for being here. We have no further business. I would therefore entertain a motion of adjournment.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Elmore for adjournment. Ms. Reinhardt, please call the roll.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Elmore?
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Hope to see you all at our next meeting. Thank you very much for being here.